work nights at a bar just off the highway, just a dive where truckers, tired locals, and the occasional weirdo stumble in for cheap beer and silence. I'm 21. It's not my dream job, but it pays the bills. Last Thursday started like any other shift. The place smelled like stale beer and cigarettes. The usual guys were planted in their corners, nursing their drinks like it was medicine. Around 10:30, two men walked in. They weren't regulars. They sat at the far end of the bar, right under the TV that never worked. One of them had this greasy brown jacket and dead eyes. The other wore a baseball cap pulled low over his face. At first, I didn't think much of it. You get a lot of quiet types around here. But every time I passed them, I could feel their eyes crawling over me. Not like a glance, more like studying. I kept moving, wiping down counters and pretending not to notice. But every time I looked up, they were still watching. Something about the way they sat got under my skin. By midnight, they were gone. Didn't even order anything. Just slipped out, quiet as ghosts. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't want to be that girl, jumping at shadows. My shift ended at 2 a.m. I stepped outside. The parking lot was nearly empty except for one car I hadn't seen before. A dark green Camaro, beat up and old, parked across the street, half under a broken streetlight. I didn't see anyone inside. I started walking, trying to act normal, like I wasn't aware of the engine starting behind me. But I heard it, that low, grumbling idle. I didn't look back. I couldn't. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. I took the long way home, then changed my mind and cut through the woods behind Miller's Hardware. I never took that path. It's steep, overgrown, and completely dark. But I grew up around here. I know how to move fast when I need to. I didn't see the car anymore. No headlights, no engine, nothing. Maybe I imagined it. By the time I got home, I was soaked in sweat and shaking. I locked the door, pulled the curtains, and turned off every light. My phone was dead. Figures. I sat by the window, just barely peeking out between the blinds. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Then there it was, the Camaro. It rolled down the street slow as death, headlights off, like it was hunting. It stopped across the street of my house. No one got out. It just sat there, engine rumbling low, lights off, like it was listening. I swear I saw the glint of someone's eyes behind the windshield. The car stayed there for almost an hour. Then, as quietly as it had arrived, it pulled away. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't sleep for days. This happened last year. I was driving from Montana to Arizona, just trying to get out of a bad situation. Fresh breakup, lost job, everything crashing. I had about $600 to my name and slept in my car most nights. But that night, it was cold. I'd been driving for 11 hours straight and saw this old motel glowing like a mirage off the highway. Red Pines Motor Lodge. It wasn't on Google Maps, no reviews, no website. But the vacancy sign was lit, and the guy at the front desk gave me a key for $35 cash. He didn't ask for ID. Room 6. The place was what you'd expect. Dusty carpet, wood panel walls, a weird smell like someone sprayed Febreze over mildew. But I locked the door, pulled the curtain shut, and tried to rest. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to the sound of a car door slamming. Then footsteps, gravel crunching outside my window. I peeked through the curtain, just a little. There was a man standing in the shadows near the vending machine. He wasn't buying anything, just standing there, facing my room. After a minute, he walked past my window, then back. I couldn't see his face, just a hoodie, hands in his pockets. I told myself maybe he was a guest, maybe smoking, but I couldn't shake the feeling. I turned off the lights and sat in the dark, watching. Then, my doorknob jiggled, not lightly. Someone tried to turn it. Then they tried again, harder. I stayed dead quiet, didn't even breathe. A few seconds later, I heard scraping at the door, like a key, or maybe a knife, dragging across it. 5 minutes passed. 10. Nothing. I finally built the courage to look through the peephole. No one was there. I waited till morning, packed my stuff, and left without even checking out. I don't usually sleep with my window open. Even in the summer, I'd rather deal with the heat than leave it cracked at night. I live in a quiet neighborhood, but my bedroom's on the second floor, and I've always had this weird fear of waking up to someone just standing out there. But that night, it was hot. I'm talking sweat-soaked, fan-blasting kind of hot. So I gave in, opened the window halfway, and hoped for a breeze. It was just after 3 a.m. when I woke up. Not because of a sound, because of a feeling. That kind of feeling like someone's watching you. You ever get that? You wake up and you know you're not alone, even if nothing's changed. My room was still dark, fan humming. The air was different, heavier. I rolled over, facing the window, and I noticed the curtain was moving. Just barely. It wasn't blowing like it does when the wind catches it. It was swaying, like someone had brushed past it gently. I stared, and that's when I saw the shape. Not clearly, just the faintest outline of something, crouched outside the window, the top of a head barely visible above the sill. No eyes, no movement, just a presence. And it was listening. I don't know how I knew, but I could feel it. This stillness, like it was waiting to hear if I'd stir. Like if I stayed quiet, maybe it would go away. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just stared. After what felt like forever, the curtain swayed again, slightly. Whatever was out there shifted back, slowly, like it was retreating. And then, nothing. I slammed the window shut and locked it without even looking again. The next morning, I found 2 faint smudges on the outside of the glass, like fingertips sliding down. I didn't find footprints or signs of entry, just those prints, 10 feet off the ground. It was around 2:40 a.m. when I woke up that night, throat dry, craving a glass of water. I live alone in a small 1-story house in a quiet neighborhood, the kind of place where nothing ever really happens. Or at least, that's what I told myself when I moved in. The house was dark and dead quiet. I didn't bother turning on the lights. I'd walked that hallway to the kitchen 1,000 times. I knew it like muscle memory. I poured a glass from the fridge and stood there at the sink, slowly sipping, trying to shake off the fog of sleep. And then, I looked up and froze. There was a man standing outside my kitchen window. Not moving, not knocking. Just standing. Maybe 6 feet back from the glass, barely lit by the faint glow of the porch light behind him. He was tall, maybe late 40s or early 50s, wearing a dirty coat. His hair was a mess, and I swear he wasn't blinking, just staring through the window, straight at me, like he'd been watching me long before I noticed. The worst part? He didn't flinch when I saw him, didn't move. Like me seeing him was part of the plan. I dropped the glass. It shattered on the tile and finally broke the trance. I lunged for the phone, ducking low, heart pounding so hard I could barely think. I called 911 and whispered to the dispatcher what was happening. She kept asking if he was trying to break in, but he wasn't. He just stood there, watching. By the time the cops arrived, maybe 7 minutes later, he was gone. No footprints in the grass, no sign of a car, like he'd disappeared into the night.